Hi, everyone. Todd Rosenbluth of TMX VettaFi, and I'm in the New York office with Michael Mack of Victory Capital. Michael, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Todd. Excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited that you're here, and you know what's also exciting? What's been going on in the free cash flow suite of ETFs that Victory has. We've seen really strong demand in 2025, in particular with the Origin product, VFlow. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's really solving one of the biggest challenges in today's market is valuation risks, right? We've seen normally at valuations levels like we see today, there's risk in the market. And the risk is the market starts off willing to pay a certain multiple, and then over time it ends willing to pay a lower multiple. And the price of the portfolio goes down. We think investors need to try to solve for that problem by reducing their valuation risks, buying stocks with high free cash flow. And what we look at is free cash flow yield, right? And so the index is designed to identify companies who are trading at attractive valuations relative to free cash flow. And that concept's really resonating with clients right now because everyone sees it across the portfolio. There's the Magnificent Seven are finding their ways into portfolios, not only in growth, but also we've even seen it in some value strategies. And so it's important to have a part of the portfolio that's diversified and focused on the lowest valuation companies in the market.
So that's the value side and high quality. And we've seen at VettaFi when we're talking to advisors with our polls, that quality continues to ring true. That we see a strong interest in quality. But quality isn't just for the value side of the ledger. You guys also have a growth version of the Victory free cash flow ETF, right?
That's right. Where in value, you're looking at free cash flow yield. So the company's free cash flow relative to their enterprise value. In the case of growth, it's about looking at profitability. And one of our team's done some research that's looked back over time. If you look at growth as an investment factor the last 25 years, as a standalone factor, it hasn't been effective. It's only when you combine it with profitability that growth has become effective. And so what we're focusing on is free cash flow profitability or free cash flow return on invested capital. And really at the end of the day, what does that mean? It's important because it tells you how effective a company is at converting its capital into free cash flow, with the idea that the higher they're able to generate free cash flow, the more they're able to grow their businesses by reinvesting those cash flows.
So, Michael, we've also seen growing demand for international equities in 2025, both from the ETF level and, of course, from the stock level because of the strong performance. Victory Shares recently launched a couple of international free cash flow ETFs. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Coming into the beginning of the year, we saw the sentiment against international as one of the weakest, where clients were increasingly avoiding international. This year, they've started to rethink that as time's gone on. And really, it's less about avoiding the U.S., right? And more about expanding your opportunity set, right? Looking internationally at opportunities through the lens of high quality, high free cash flow companies. And so we've rolled these ETFs out to allow investors to expand their access to high free cash flow companies, high free cash flow companies across the market.
And so that's iFlow and GRIN. Those are the tickers of those two ETFs, right?
That's correct.
And so you could build, and many advisors are probably starting to build a portfolio with a value-oriented strategy, a growth-oriented strategy. I think there's even a small cap one as well. International, you could build a whole portfolio using these free cash flow ETFs, right?
One of the things our research has found is the appeal of free cash flow is it's worked across different regions and asset classes. And so that's the goal, is to build a diversified portfolio based on free cash flow, or to offer the potential to.
So these are relatively new. Some of these are relatively new products. Where can folks learn more at the Victory side?
Yeah, for additional information and a link to the prospectus, please visit vcm.com.
That's great. And so for folks that want to read up on VettaFi's content, you can visit etftrends.com. We have a free cash flow channel for you to visit. Thanks a lot.